do it best, oh yeah. Started moving with the crew, you got a few, we got a slew. We tryna do what they said that we couldn't do, oh yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Elevate Talk. Today we have a special guest. We have the owner of Aloura Lounge, Julia, here. So
Hello.
Welcome, Julia.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Sweet. I'm super excited for this one because we're kind of in a similar space and we've had a little bit of rapport already too. I've had a bunch of questions. I know she has a bunch of questions. You're obviously killing it. So let's just start with a little bit of introduction of you.
Yeah, so my name's Julia. Again, I'm the founder of Aloura Lounge. I started Aloura about a year and a half ago. It's crazy to even think that it's been a year and a half because I feel like it's just gone by so fast, and to think that we have gotten to where we are right now is just mind-blowing to me. But just a little background, I guess, about me. I went to McMaster. I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology, so nothing business related, which we can get into later. So I had no background or any kind of education about starting a business when I did start. I graduated about 3 years ago, and and then I didn't end up liking the psychology field or anything to do with that, so I decided to take the leap and start my business, and here we are.
Okay, so on that note, why did you start the brand, specifically Aloura Lounge?
I get asked this a lot, and I wish there was I had a clear strategy in place or plan when I started, but I really didn't. It kind of just happened, as much as I hate to say that. But 2 years ago or so, I did network marketing, and that was right when COVID started. So I feel like I got a little taste of what it's like to be your own boss, kind of work your own hours, and really just take a business in the direction that you wanted. But the reason that I started drifting away from that was because I felt like I wanted to really have something that was my own, and I felt like I was really limited with that because, again, I don't know if you really know much about network marketing, but you're basically given a product and expected to market it online. And I just felt like there wasn't that connection there with the product, and I was passionate about it at the beginning because it was something exciting and new, but then over time it just kind of the spark wasn't there for me. And something about me is that when I'm passionate about something, I go crazy, and I feel like that's the one thing that really gets me going in the mornings. And I felt like I was losing it there because of that missing. Something was just missing, and so I couldn't get myself to really force it and force being happy and force showing up on my social media. But I'm definitely grateful for it because I feel like that's the reason why I was able to get to where I am with Aloura and even feel the confidence to start, because I was so used to showing up on social media every single day with the stories on Instagram and the reels, and TikTok wasn't really a big thing for me back then, but it was the presence on Instagram specifically that I had to do every single day that really gave me the confidence to start Aloura and bring Aloura where it is. But yeah, so I ended up saying, no, network marketing isn't for me. And then one day, I honestly, I even remember the day. It was Easter. I was with my family, had some wine in me, so I was a little buzzed.
That's time to start a brand.
Yeah. And I was at the time I messaged my ex-co-founder. I was let's start a clothing business. I was let's start a business, whatever. We knew we worked so well together because we did network marketing together. And I was we would kill it. This would be amazing. Let's start this. And right after I said that, I was looking into names. I was looking into products. I was literally researching everything because I go crazy like that. Once I'm excited about something, I'm I will not sleep. I will research. I will do everything. And act on right away, because I'm not someone who oh, but what about this? What about this? I just act on it right away. So, and then here we are. That's literally how it happened. And I just started researching, and then one thing led to another. And
did you always have a passion for clothing or loungewear or elevated clothing?
Yeah.
Why did you specifically pick this industry?
So at first, I definitely did not have this crazy passion for loungewear. I feel like loungewear really started during COVID, that's when it really started, or like sweatsuits specifically, matching sweatsuits really blew up. And I definitely had a bunch in my closet, but was it something that I was super passionate about? No. But I would say when I first started Aloura, I was just trying to figure out something that I could sell. It was kind of more so about numbers for me, like how do I make this my job, right? So there wasn't anything that was really like pulling me into loungewear. It just seemed convenient, and I really liked matching sets in general. So our first set ended up being like a crew neck. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was like a crew neck with matching shorts. We ended up launching in the summer, and end of summer, and when I first like thought of the idea, it was like March. So it again all happened pretty fast. And yeah, I just thought it was cute. It literally just said Aloura and then Lounge. There was nothing on the back or like no meaning behind it like we do have now. I just picked some like aesthetically pleasing colors. And it was just honestly a passion project for me at the beginning, like something fun, something new. So yeah, it's not that I was really excited about loungewear. It was more so like just kind of getting a job for me at the beginning. And then that's when I decided to separate with my co-founder, that's when I really started to dig deep, because I felt like it was hard doing it, like having someone there and then having to transfer to doing everything on your own. And I don't know if this is talked about a lot, but I feel like as a business owner, it gets really lonely and you feel really isolated from everyone, because not a lot of people can relate to what you're going through or what you're trying to do. So it was definitely a hard transition, but I feel like getting in that hard time of like, how am I going to like take this to the next level, or even just like the next step, how am I going to keep Aloura going, because it was still something that excited me. And so that's where I really learned or I had to dig deep in order to find a way to make the brand stand out in ways that I didn't already do when, starting Aloura.
So did you, because you just started with basics with your logo.
Yes.
At what point did you start to add in more details and designs? Was it when you started making some sales and you're like, oh, this could actually go somewhere? Or you're like, no, this is not the product that I want to sell in the market. There's more to it. So let me switch up the strategy.
I think it was a mix. We had a good launch with our first product and everything. Did we sell out like we expected to? No, we did. And I feel like when you start, it's hard to know numbers. Like, it's hard to know. People will say, oh my God, I'm going to buy. But do they end up buying most of the time? No, right? So it was kind of, I would say, a hard moment to be like thinking that you're going to sell out and this excitement, and then figuring out like, or realizing that, no, I didn't sell out. It's tough. And I think it really kind of put me back into reality, because I'm someone who really like, I'm a big dreamer, and I just like believe everything's gonna like work out as planned and just be great. So it was definitely bringing me back into reality there. And so we did well, but it was hard to just keep the sales going. And that's what I really struggled with, because when I first started, I wasn't really on TikTok. It was mainly just Instagram. So the group of people that were already following us just from like my personal account, my co-founder's personal account, people just followed us because they, were our friends, mutuals, they wanted to support. But it was like after that first launch, it just started to really just be dry. And it was really hard for me to find reasons as to why people should buy this. And I think that's what really made me think, okay, how do I give people a reason to support me and buy this and want to wear this? So that's where I really, again, had to really dig deep and try to find that reason for someone to want to purchase and support. Because as a small business too, like our pricing isn't, the most affordable, and there's so many other loungewear businesses or just sets in general out there. So it's like, why would they choose me over someone else? So that's what I really had to work hard to figure out. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
So on that topic of digging deep, and when you realized you had to give more than just your product, there had to be a message, there had to be meaning behind the brand. I noticed you have a lot of mental health and self-love tends to be a common theme that you really promote through Aloura. So how important has that been in terms of just growing the brand and the vision there?
Yeah, it was honestly like I look back because the whole transition, because I can just say, yeah, you know, I was doing network marketing and then, you know, it wasn't for me. And then I started Aloura, but there was so much in between time that was so hard on my mental health, because I, again, am someone who needs to be passionate about something. Like, I need a fire inside me. I need to be creative in some sort of way. And if I don't have that, like, I feel like I lose my spark. And I feel like that transition of me thinking, oh my God, I'm going to do network marketing my whole life, and then feeling like this wasn't for me anymore, I was kind of like lost. I was like, what am I here for then? Like, what am I, you know, I felt like I had no purpose in a sense. So I'm so thankful that I did go through, as I say, rock bottom at that time, because it made me realize a lot about myself. And that's where I started transitioning Aloura into having these messages behind the collections. And just at first it was a big risk, because I'm like, are people going to think I'm silly? Like, are people going to think I'm weird for kind of sharing my dark moments with them and like my hard times? But at the end of the day, I was really just hoping that someone would resonate with it and just kind of be like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like, I'm going through this too. It's so nice to hear that someone else is going through this too, and I'm not normal, right? Because I feel like we get so lost in our heads, especially with social media and having that be our world right now. It's so easy to get just lost in there. So I kind of wanted to create this space where people could come and knew they were not judged and they could be themselves, and hopefully again just relate to something and end up leaving the space feeling a little bit better than when they first entered, right?
How long was it from the first launch that you did, which was the basics, until you went into the more designs?
So it honestly was pretty fast, I would say. Actually, okay, not that. I'm like thinking, I'm like, it wasn't that long, but it actually was. Our first launch was end of July 21st, I think. And then our second launch, which was our Down to Earth collection. So it was just like, it had Down to Earth on the sleeves, and then at the back it said, "This is your sign too," and it had a bunch of quotes. That launched literally first week of December. So it was almost like 6 months later. So yeah, it was quite some time actually.
So let's talk about that then. In terms of production, how did you figure out your manufacturing for the first one? And then when you moved into doing it on your own and making your products more detailed, would you stick to the same manufacturer? How's the communication there? And what was that process like?
It was a lot of back and forth for sure. And I am still with the same manufacturer that I've been since the beginning. So it's been nice because we've been able to build such a great relationship. And I feel like with time too, you get better at knowing like how they communicate, when they communicate, and, you know, you just kind of have a better system in place. So yeah, we've been with the same one, but it's just, yeah, sorry, can you just...
early day problems. So what's some of the couple problems that you faced when you were first creating your collection?
Definitely communication was like the number one for sure. And I think I'm still struggling even at this point, a year and a half later, with like creating a system, because I feel like things are just changing constantly. And it's so hard for me to just like have a set plan or set strategy in place and just stay consistent with that, because again, everything's changing, like new things are coming out. But in terms of like my manufacturer and all that, it was a lot of just like back and forth communication and, you know, the sampling process. It was a lot of that because I didn't know really what I wanted. And I think that was definitely like the hardest part too, is like I had an idea, but I didn't know exactly until I saw it in person and saw on me, because I'm really picky. And I'm like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to sit here and try to get you to like it. So it was something that I knew that I had to be in love with in order to like put out. So that is definitely why the process did take a lot longer. And plus too, financially, like I started this business with someone and then we split ways, and now everything was on me and I didn't have any other job. And I was really stubborn that I'm like, I'm not going to find another job because I want to put all my time and energy into this business. So it was definitely a big struggle trying to balance and juggle everything and figure out how the frick do I do this?
Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, how much did you invest in your very first collection?
It was like 20,000,
Wow.
about $20,000.
And this was with your partner
Yes.
in the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we invested about 20,000 roughly. Again, I feel like there's just so many things, you know, like the thank you cards, the packaging, like that was just like the product alone. We spent over $20,000. So it was definitely more than that. And then once my partner or the co-founder left, I had to pay her off. And then on top of that, I was trying to sell the product plus launch a new product plus live a life. Yeah. So it was definitely a lot.
That's crazy. I think Maaz can definitely relate to that in the early days.
Yeah.
All of it.
I don't know if you want to share like
Yes,
a little
tell
bit of
me.
that with Julia.
Yeah, well, I've had a couple partners. The first one was it was a supplement brand. We didn't have clothing or anything, so I was with the person, and we're still friends. 15 years of friendship. So it didn't work out a year in, and he went his own ways. But there's a lot of hard conversations you have to have. I'm sure you know. We won't get in that part. And then brought a new partner in. There's even hard conversations there of what percentage is right for who, and so you have to figure those parts out. I think one thing about being a business owner and growing as an entrepreneur is having tough conversations.
And I was gonna ask too, like, I know this people are either like for it or against it, but do you believe it's a good thing to have friends as, you know, part of your business or not?
When I started, I thought it was the best decision. Like, yeah, we're gonna be boys, we're gonna be rich together, we're gonna drive supercars together. But like over time, I would not, because not only that it can't work out, it's just so hard on yourself, and just growing this brand, it's so unlikely that this will work, that the person you're doing it with, you're gonna end up having arguments. They're gonna have a vision, or they won't pull their weight, or something is and then it's gonna affect your friendship. So if you want to keep your friendship good with that person, and these are conversations that I've had with my current business partner too, that we have to figure out that business is kept separate, and in the future I would never bring a friend in. I
feel like it's so hard, because not only do you have to maintain and grow that business relationship, but your personal relationships as well, right? And I feel like it's so much easier for things to just get tangled and go downhill from there, because you have not only expectations as you being a business owner, but like a friend too, and vice versa. So
and your passion comes in, because you might be way more passionate about this specific thing than he or she is, but they're coming in to support you. So it's great that if somebody is there on your first early days to support you, you always got to be super thankful for that. And if it doesn't work out, you just have some good conversations and you find a healthy way to separate. I definitely, after starting the business with someone and now being able to do it on my own, I feel like it's just so different, right? You don't have to, you know, there's obviously pros and cons to it, but it's just nice to be able to know that you get to make all the decisions. What you want happens. You know, you don't need anyone else's approval. But at the same time, it's like it would be nice to have someone to, you know, bring in maybe some skills that you don't have or that you're lacking. So well, that's the important thing. Like, that business partner at the bare minimum should have certain skills that you don't have, because if that's not being provided, then a lot of the times I think money is a big thing where you bring business partners in, but then you realize a year in that money is not enough. So if you can do it on your own, I would recommend that.
I was actually going to ask you too, like, when did you feel like it was the right time to bring on not a business partner, but your first employee?
So in terms of apparel, which is just hitting the 3-year mark, the first year or so was my business partner. And after that, the second employee, as we started scaling, we needed more help in fulfillment and customer service, really. So at that point, we budgeted and thought that would be the right person, who was Jasmine. She was with us for 1.5 years. Now she moved to Calgary.
She actually,
I know Jasmine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wait, I know her.
she would always talk about her.
Oh, she's so sweet.
So Jasmine, that's the right time. As you scale and you just need help, I think that would be the right time. But if you can do it all on your own, even though it's mentally breaking and you don't have a balance in life, but welcome to being an entrepreneur. That's what it is.
I feel like my biggest thing is like, okay, yes, I have these skills. I was able to grow Aloura to where it is now, but it's like, just imagine I had someone come on, you know, and again, like just employee in general, come and bring in skills that I don't have, I'm like, how could that benefit us, right? And I'm just in the process of just trying to like balance out the pros and cons of that right now, of where I am at.
Where do you think you'll need help initially?
Like where?
Yeah.
I love taking care of the social media part for now. Like I love the customer service because I'm really big on just like even sending voice notes back to my customers. I'm really big on building relationships. So I definitely want to stay in charge of that. But I would say like still like social media, maybe like even the graphic design help, influencer marketing. I don't know. I feel like there's so many places that someone could help me in, or just maybe like take some load off of my back. So I really am just still trying to figure that part out.
How about customer service and fulfillment? Is that you, or do you?
Yes, I do it all. I would love to in the end have, you know, either be in a fulfillment center or have my own. I would definitely, I feel like the packing orders, which was something I am so grateful for and I love doing it, but I feel like it is very time consuming when you're trying to scale your business. So that's, thank you for bringing it up. That's definitely like the top of the list that I really would love some help on. But yeah, I don't really have the space right now to, you know, be a fulfillment center. Yeah. And I honestly am in the process again of looking into maybe going somewhere else, but I love to make my packaging and all that super personal and just like, I do, you know, tissue paper, a little wax seal always with every order, and like a little ribbon with everything. So I feel like a fulfillment center is maybe not the option because I don't want to lose that part of the business, which is what grew a lot of our customers to love. So I think like the number one choice for me would be to have my own fulfillment center and bring someone on to do those orders. Yeah,
for sure. You don't want to, I think that's something Maaz was thinking of as well. You could have that, you could outsource that, but then you kind of lose that personal touch, especially like we do a lot of like, sometimes we give away like socks and scrunchies and stuff like that.
Yeah, like how will they know when to do that, right?
So, and even sometimes when we send out like PR packages to people, we'll write like a little customized note, and who knows, like, and that's usually our team, like myself and someone else here that like will write those personalized notes, and it's not like you can like outsource writing notes to people, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like a little thing like that really makes the biggest difference, and I think that's one of the things that I really try to stick with or do when starting Aloura and like bring it to the next level, is like really just try to find different areas to add that personal touch, not only just in the clothing and the washer tag having like a little note, but also in the packing and, you know, the customer service behind the scenes as well.
So are you handling all emails for customer service as well?
I do everything. Yeah.
Have you ever had help?
I have had a friend help, but that's why I asked the question about mixing friends and business. I felt like it was just like tough on me.
You can hire a friend. That's okay.
Yeah.
If I gave a suggestion, I think your first hire should be in fulfillment and customer service. So you have more energy to keep it in your core skills, which seems like to be the branding, the production, the content.
And I would love to keep it that way because I feel like when people hear Aloura or see Aloura, they think of my face, right? Because I'm there, and I feel like they kind of built that connection with me over social media. So I'd love to keep it there. So definitely some support with fulfillment would be amazing, but I feel like I'm just really picky with who I bring on because, you know, I have these expectations and they have these expectations, and I feel like it's just a tough spot when you're bringing in friends, but at the same time, it's like the people you trust, right? So it's like, do you really want to bring in a stranger to help you with your baby? Like, I don't know.
That's something that I had to get over as well. In the beginning, you're like, oh, I want full control. Like, I don't want this. But then over time, you have to start, your team becomes your baby as well.
Yeah. I saw that on your podcast that was your or one of the episodes, your biggest strength, right? Your
100%.
team. Yeah.
And that took me a good year or two to figure out.
I feel like, you know, even going back to just hiring someone, if you're trying to hire someone and going back to hiring a friend, I think it's definitely possible as long as you're the owner and you set out those boundaries with that person. you know, and you have to let them know that these are the expectations. And realistically, if you're hiring them, they shouldn't really have too many expectations of you, because you're kind of like, they're on your payroll. No? So you can let them know, like, this is what I'm expecting, and we're obviously friends, but you have to respect me, and I'm making the decisions, and you have some freedom to be creative here, but at the end of the day, you have to follow my direction. So and the right person will respect that as well. So it's just a matter of, you know, going through that process and having that conversation with those people. So
So on that note, keeping the focus on what you're good at, you've scaled your social media to a certain level as well, especially on TikTok and on Instagram as well. So did you always have an understanding or an eye for good content, or did you get better over time? How did you grow here?
I honestly started with first having I loved anything aesthetic and just trying to make something aesthetically pleasing. And I think that's how I first started Aloura and tried to keep it around that. So then realizing that aesthetic is just not enough. Like, aesthetic is not enough to really grow your business. I feel like it'll get you to a certain point, but you know, it's 2022 now, almost 2023. Like, people want to build that connection and see more of like who's behind the brand and like the behind the scenes and all that. So I really just started focusing. Okay, I was like, screw aesthetics right now, and let me just focus on having fun and just like being weird, because I'm just gonna bring out my personality. And that's when I really started seeing my TikTok specifically grow, is when I was just like, I was not judging myself. I'm like, I'm just going to post it. I'm not going to overthink anything. I'm just going to film. I hear an audio. I have an idea. I film it right away. And then I either post now or later, but I just don't overthink. And that's one of my favorite quotes. It's don't think, just do. I tell myself that all the time. And that's definitely like one big thing on TikTok. I'm like, okay.
This podcast slogan is all do, no talk.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. So definitely just like posting and not overthinking and just really having fun with it at the end of the day, because that's just like something that I'm proud of and something I'm excited about. And I feel like people just really started vibing with that energy.
On that note of ditching aesthetics and going all in, something we did as well 6 months ago was really let go of that whole control of everything looking perfect, and really just being raw and showing who we are. Having a bit of humor, I feel like, has done something really good for our brand. And it's something that we continue trying. Not everything lands, but you just have to keep pushing through. And I've noticed on your TikTok specifically that you've definitely done a lot of that. And how would you say that has been instrumental in the success of where your business is today?
I feel like a lot of people could relate to it, like just being goofy and fun. And I feel like that energy was kind of like, just they took it through the phone, right? If I was excited and just like showing something, they're like, oh my god, they were like feeling excited. And I feel like just through TikTok, like I was able to build these connections with people as well, because they not only saw my product and what I was, you know, selling, but they also saw me and the type of person that I am. And again, I felt like I was able to like build those relationships with those people through my TikToks, which is like weird to even say out loud. Like, what?
Did you notice a lot of traffic on your site from TikTok?
Oh yeah, TikTok is like the thing that's, you know, helped us grow times 1,000.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
And
once I
Instagram?
once I started doing TikToks is when I started growing my Instagram and just seeing growth. It was all from TikTok. I think once I had a video go viral and I had like 30,000 people on my site within a week. So it wasn't all at once, but just from that video, right?
Wow.
So it didn't technically convert because, again, I don't have products available on my site at all times. It's just a system that I'm working on too right now. But still, like, just people seeing the stuff, seeing the name, possibly, you know, adding their email to be a part of the email subscriber list. So TikTok has definitely been a big thing for Aloura's growth.
That's awesome. Even that you're able to capture that traffic who then sign up to your email newsletter, because something we were talking about the other day, that with Instagram and TikTok, everything is so short form, and you never know, like, you're in when you're on those apps, you're basically at the will of those apps. They could glitch out and be
Yeah,
deleted one
I
day.
think
You
about that
never
all the
know.
time.
But having your email
Yes.
newsletter, you have that those
And no one can
Yes.
take that away from you.
Yeah.
Well.
So
Yeah.
continue building. It's something we're working on as well. Is just building up our email newsletter as much as we can.
Yeah,
So,
I'm like, how can I like add this in somewhere on our site so people like need to sign up so I can have their email, because it's so easy to miss a story on Instagram. It's so easy to miss a TikTok, right? But I feel like eventually like everyone goes through their emails, but I'm slowly now just really trying to transfer over to SMS, because I feel like even now people really skip through their emails, and people have the
Text.
junk
yeah.
that like it
Junk box.
yeah, like it'll just go through it for
Spam
you.
folder.
Spam folder, yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like even then it's still hard to go through. So I'm really trying to like transfer over more to SMS marketing, but it's just again higher cost.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say. So we have a SMS marketing as well. It's definitely a lot higher cost.
Yeah.
It does convert. But if I put it on a scale where if we're able to collect emails faster
Yeah.
because of its price and then the conversion on it, I would still say email works
Yeah.
better than text.
Yeah.
Do you do pop-ups ever on your site to
Yes.
sign up?
So I have a pop-up. Right now I have it that like everything's gonna be like restocked for Black Friday. Don't miss out. So that like pops up right away. And I also have it on my site where when I'm out of stock, I have the notify me little
That's smart.
tab. So
Yeah.
people click on that. So when I had a video go viral, I got a lot of emails through that. So people, right when I added it back to the site, they were notified. So that definitely helps.
Awesome.
So in terms of the platforms, would you say your main focus is on TikTok?
Yeah, I would say I definitely have times where I'm like, no, like I want to focus on Instagram. I want to have our number higher on Instagram, because I feel like TikTok is the place that like they see your video, they see your stuff, but then they'll go like look at your Instagram. I feel like Instagram is like what like makes you legit. I feel like people look at that and like know like, oh my God, is this a big brand? Are they small? Like, are they legit?
Yeah.
But I realized like I was still seeing results from just focusing on TikTok, and now I'm just basically taking my TikToks, taking the little TikTok thing that when you save a video off, and then re-uploading it on Reels. And like they don't do terrible, they still do fine. Did I have one blow up on Reels? No, but it's still giving me those consistent views and that reach to people that, or exposure that to people that haven't seen us yet. Yeah.
And I feel like the people that do end up coming to follow you on Instagram, Instagram is better to connect. Like you can DM them and stuff. You can do more story posts.
Yeah.
And it's a mature platform, so like you said, it's more legitimized. But you have a pretty good audience on Instagram as well. What about Shorts? Are you on YouTube Shorts as well?
I was for a bit, and then I stopped because I was just like in the middle of figuring out like, do I want to have a separate YouTube for Aloura? Do I want to have it like, because I had an old YouTube channel back in the day, do I want to have it under that account and just kind of like make it more about me and Aloura? So and then I realized, or I heard that apparently Shorts or YouTube is like gonna pay now for Shorts.
January onwards.
Yeah, so I heard that. I was like, okay, like maybe I should reconsider. Maybe they're gonna be showing more videos and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I'm really in between on a lot of things right now. Like trying to
we
figure
would
it out.
recommend to get on Shorts.
Yeah, you guys are on Shorts?
Yeah, we tried. And lately, this was only like a month ago or something that Elyse was just posting Shorts and started out with a few hundred views here and there. But with consistency, now we're posting like 2-3 times a day. There's a bunch that went over like 50K views.
Wow.
Yeah, a bunch. And like consistently getting like 8, 12, 15K views. But the good part of that is as we scale, we're getting more subs. So with the long format videos, let's say we get to 10K subs just through Shorts, we're able to create long format, which then can be monetized, which then retains those customers more. So I would definitely get on that.
So now I'm just mainly recycling on Instagram, like TikTok videos on Instagram, and I use Pinterest as well.
Okay.
I'm posting often on Pinterest.
I need to get on that.
Yeah, and I feel like Pinterest is something where you don't have to be consistent with how much you're posting, because you'll notice like a month later something might just get random views, and I guess that is like that on all platforms, but I feel with Pinterest there's not as much like pressure to have that like constant like showing up on there versus like Instagram and TikTok. So let's say TikTok, like I was talking about this the other day because I was away for a little bit and I just started reposting again and my views were terrible. And I was like, oh my God, of course, like I just stopped posting consistently for 1 week and TikTok is like punishing me. And I feel like the same thing happens on Instagram as well. You have to stay consistent. But with Pinterest, I feel like if it's going to do good, it's going to do good. If it's not, so I really just repost. They're called idea pins. I don't know if you know much about if you use Pinterest. Yeah, but they're called idea pins, I think. And it's basically like you can upload photos or videos. So I'll just upload, like sometimes I won't even remove the TikTok watermark and they'll still like get views. And I noticed that it'll even show on my Shopify dashboard that people are coming from Pinterest. Okay. So it still does something. Why not just put yourself out there anywhere you can? Yeah, it doesn't hurt. So that's why I'm definitely going to start shorts again. I think I'm honestly just going to keep the account I have and just roll with it. Just consistently, like you said, recycle that content and just put it up there. You never know what's gonna hit.
But like you were saying earlier with TikTok and Instagram, everything is so fast, like after a few hours that's gone forever. But with YouTube, because it's all a search social, things that even in your recommended from 4 years ago are still just as relevant. So
that's kind of the same with Pinterest as well. Yes. Pinterest is essentially a search engine too of ideas.
Exactly.
So something that was really popular 6 years ago could still be relevant based off of the amount of pins and shares and stuff. And like that.
I feel so many people are still on Pinterest. I feel like, especially me, like I'm on there all the time, like either getting ideas for, Aloura or just like home inspo, like anything. Like there's so many people on there, or outfit inspo, everything. So I feel like it really doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Cool. So on that note, how important is community building for you, and what are you doing to grow it?
Oh my gosh, it's so important. And I think that's what really helped Aloura grow is when I stopped looking at numbers. I stopped looking at everything on my Shopify dashboard and I focused on, okay, how can I make this person happy? Like, what can I do for them? And what I was saying earlier was voice notes. I did a lot of voice notes with people, like customers would ask me something or ask about their order or just ask anything in general, even size recommendations. They'll come into my DMs. I'll respond with the voice note. And most people are like, oh, wow. Like, and I just act like myself. I just respond and, answer how I want. And I feel like a lot of people, like, once they hear my voice, like specifically talking to them, I feel like it's just easily building that connection. And I feel like it's just much easier for them to kind of get that trust or have that trust for you. So I think that's like a big thing that I did. And also when I first started, I felt like I had almost like a mask on. I really just tried to like hide a lot of my personality because I felt like I wasn't like the typical like professional entrepreneur. And I feel like that really did not get me far because I was not relatable. So now when I talk to people, like I send the emojis, like I just sound excited over like text and all that. And like people love that. And if they don't vibe with it, then, they can go. But like most of my community are people similar to me and they just like really enjoy that type of communication. So that was like definitely a big thing that I did to build my community, is just like focusing on that communication, because I can't see them face to face. I can't, I'm not going to meet up with them one-on-one. So how could I do that instead? And that's, at the beginning, a lot of it was through Instagram DMs, and it still is. That's still like my number one
even
thing.
For us.
Yeah.
Maaz does that a lot too, because it's a lot. Well, we have the team now, everyone kind of in the DMs. But Maaz, when he first started out, it was obviously just him in the DMs, and the way that you talk
500 a day.
The way that he talks to customers is how he texts. Obviously he kind of puts on like a hey girl, like
hey girl, hey
like
babe.
This guy with a beard just talking to
and they ask about size recommendations, like what bra size should I wear? I'm this and this. He's just like I
had to learn it all.
But it's definitely being personable.
Yes.
And I like the voice notes too. A lot of our customers actually send us voice notes.
And it's, I feel like it's just easier for us too, instead of like trying to do like a comma, you know, proper or proper grammar. Instead, you just send a voice note. I never re-listen to my voice notes because I'm like, no way. I know I sound crazy on there. I just click send. I'm like, okay. And most of the time, like, they'll respond with a voice note too. And they'll be like, hey, like, I'm so happy you sent a voice note. And like, just like have a conversation. And that's another thing too, is like, I always try to keep the conversation going, and I'll always, you know, go on Aloura's, like, who I'm following and just respond to stories. So, like, really just anything that I can. And I know it is time consuming, but I feel like I'm at that point where I can still put a lot of my effort and time into doing that. And I want to continue doing that because that's important to me. And I want people to feel, you know, appreciated, because I feel like, for me, I feel like it takes a lot to decide to purchase from a small business specifically, because, you know, we don't have the followers that these huge brands do. So it's like, why are they going out of their way to want to support me? And I feel like I will do anything in my power to know that I appreciated that, because they were the people that were able to bring me to where I am today. And without that, I don't know where I'd be working. Like, would I be at Starbucks, like, miserable?
I'd be there
like,
with you.
Yeah. We'd be both like baristas, just not living our lives.
And probably do a bad job at it
Yeah. I was a barista at Starbucks.
Really?
That's why I brought that up. Yeah.
I used to work at RBC.
Oh, the
For
bank.
like 2 months.
Yeah.
Then I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've quit many jobs.
Yeah, me too. I can't fake being like happy. I'm like, I can't, like, I will not force myself to be there and just do what I have to do. I would rather suffer at my house broke and like try to figure out a plan B. That's how I work.
Yeah, that's solid. So definitely the content is a great way to build community. Customer service is a great way to build community. Do you ever do giveaways for your community as well?
Yes, I honestly definitely think we could do more. I feel like for a long time we were at a place where we didn't have that extra inventory, because we would do the pre-orders, so it would just be like an open amount of time where people can go in and order what they wanted. And like I said, when I started, I was broke. I had no money, so I was really just like, you know, what they ordered, how much they ordered is what I ordered. I didn't have any extra pieces. So even something like a giveaway, giving away one set was like a big hit for me, right? So I was really like trying to not spend my money in any way that I can. But now I'm slowly starting to get back into that. And I love doing like collab giveaways. I just did one with another like mental health brand, all the way in New Jersey, I believe. So it was really cool to just be able to, we were able to benefit each other and our businesses with the amount, like the audiences, right? Mine are from Canada, hers are mainly from the US. So I definitely felt like it was beneficial for sure. And I definitely want to keep doing that.
What about doing influencer collabs? Have you kind of tapped into that space?
Mainly giveaways. I personally, I could go like on about this, but I personally feel like because I had to be so picky about who I sent to, I really dig deep on who I want to send to and really look at their, not just their engagement rates, but who's commenting, right? Is it other influencers, or is it, you know, people who are genuinely like interested in that person and inspired by that person? So I do like a lot of filtering before I like do gifting. So I wouldn't say that I have done a lot of just regular influencer collabs, but I think something that I really want to do is like a bigger influencer collab collection. That's definitely something that I want to do because of how much freedom I have to create whatever. I feel like it would be a good place for us to just like, or for me and an influencer, let's say, or, you know, I don't like using the word influencer exactly because it could be really anyone on the social in the social media space, to create a collection together, right? That means something to them and, you know, could mean something to our customers. Because at first I think a lot of it was like, you know, this means something to me, but not everything I went through is going to like relate to someone else. So I felt like bringing someone else in and having them, you know, share whatever part of their life or whatever they wanted it to be about sharing that, it could bring, you know, more people in that could relate with that specific collection.
That's cool. I know that you're friends with Spencer as well. And
Yes.
she's done a couple PRs with us too. So how do you guys know each other?
We actually met through Instagram. She was my first influencer collab. I just do mainly gifting. Like, I never set expectations. I'm like, I just have something, like, I would love for you to just try it out. Let me know what you think. Even now, I haven't done any influencer gifting where there are expectations, because I really want it to be genuine and organic. If they love it, they'll hopefully post it. If they don't, then, you know, what could we do better? Like, how could we stand out more? Maybe, you know, the packaging wasn't extraordinary, or, you know, something like that. So yeah, we actually met through social media and have just like clicked since then. So yeah, we're really close, and she's such, honestly, super inspiring. Yeah.
I
she's
love
killing
Spencer.
it.
Yeah.
She's definitely doing a lot.
Genuine. Yeah, she's an example of someone who has very engaged and influenced followers. So I always say, I'm like, I need to find another Spencer. Like, where can I find another Spencer? Because I've never met anyone that has such like an influence that she does, because you can just tell by the relationships she has with those people. It's because she's so personable and she's so genuine, and she's not afraid to be herself, and people can connect with that.
Yeah, and she gives back. I feel like she's selfless.
Yeah, exactly. And people respect her for that. And, you know, if she recommends something, people really trust her. Yeah.
I feel like, especially with Spencer too, there's a lot of influencers, people out there that kind of gatekeep some things. Like, you know, they don't always show everything, which I totally get. Like, people are, you know,
it's hard to show everything on social media.
And it's up to someone whether or not they want to show something or not. So no harm there. But she's just someone that kind of shows everything. And I feel like it's definitely, like you were saying, so relatable. So she definitely stands out that way and has that deeper connection. And she's a great person to work with because of that, you know? Yeah. Very professional, but still very keeps it real. Yeah.
So if there was a one big mistake that you made since you started,
honestly, like, I feel like I'm grateful that everything happened the way it did because of where I am. Like, you know, I could sit here and list all the mistakes I've made, because there are definitely hundreds, maybe thousands. I keep making them every day, but I'm that type of person. I'm like, you live, you learn, move on. Like, I feel like I'm not afraid of failure, and I think that's definitely one of my strengths, is I'm just like, give it to me. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Of course, I have my fears there, but I don't let that really stop me. And like, this is one of my fears. Like, I suck at public speaking. I suck at talking. It makes me so anxious, but I'm like, I just have to do it. Like, I'm sweating right now, but I'm like, I still
so good.
No, I'm like, I still have to come, and I have to show up for myself, right? Because if I don't do this, like, am I ever gonna do it, right? So I really don't think there's like a huge mistake. Maybe it's just, I can really just try and think for you, but
you're like, not starting sooner.
Yeah, the typical. Wish I started 2 years ago. No, I really don't have.
That's a good mindset. It's all about failing forward for sure. I've made thousands of mistakes as well. Yeah. If I were to give one of my mistakes, it's going too deep into one collection, spending too much money into that one thing. Especially in the early days, it's always good to test things out as well. Yeah. So
I definitely could say, like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't, like, if I were to start Aloura again, would I have invested 20 grand when I didn't have any money? Probably, maybe not. Like, I would maybe try to find some type of money, but I made it work. I somehow made it work. I'm here. So I feel like it pushed me harder, and it gave me that, like, I needed to do it, right? I needed to somehow make the money back and keep things going. So it was kind of that pressure that I put on myself that really got me to work hard and get to where I am.
That's actually a very good point, because we talked about that a couple of pods ago, and they asked me what my mistake was, and one of the collection we dropped 100 grand on, and then I'm like, in the time being, I was like, okay, great. Looking back at it, I wouldn't have done that, but what you just said is very true, because when you put that kind of money into it, you don't have plan B. Your back's against the wall, so you're like,
you have to figure it out. Yeah, you have to. And like, I feel like when you put yourself in those situations, you do things that other people might not think to do, and you find different ways to make it work that other people aren't doing. And I feel like in the end, it just benefits you anyways. So it really depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's so
extreme
true.
pressure can be really good for you at times.
Yeah, I need that pressure. I really push myself because I know when I have something big weighing on me, I work my hardest, and it maybe is a toxic trait of mine, but it works.
Yeah. Well, diamonds are made under extreme pressure.
Yeah. Well,
It forces you to be creative in different ways.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
something I've seen a lot
To
with
think out of the
Maaz.
box, really. Yeah.
When you're put in a position where you really have no other options, and it's either something isn't working or something, and it just forces you to find a new strategy, find something new that actually ends up being a whole new way
Level.
of looking at something,
Yeah.
and it helps you level up.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Yeah, what Maaz said, diamonds are made under pressure.
Pressure,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guess Aloura's a diamond.
So what do you have planned for the next 5 years, and what does your vision look like?
I really wish I was the type of person to have everything planned out, but I feel like having everything planned out gives you that expectation that things are going to work out. And I feel like once you have that expectation, that disappointment comes if things don't go as planned. So I'm really big on being like going with the flow and taking it, you know, maybe a year at a time at least, maybe not 5 years, but a year at a time, even 6 months, and seeing, you know, where I can go every single day, how much better can I be every single day. But in terms of like, you know, what I have coming for Aloura, like I said before, the influencer collaboration, that's definitely on the priority list right now. I would love to reach new audiences with creating a collection with, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be an influencer, even another business. I feel like there's so much to gain when coming together and building a product that can speak to both audiences. For example, like, I might be wrong with this, but Juicy Couture did like a collab with, I think it's called MEJ, like, you know, obviously Juicy Couture, they have like a lot of the sweatsuits as well, like velvet material, I think.
Yeah, the
The tracksuits,
Yeah.
and they partnered with MEJ, which is like a accessory brand, and they added like the little gemstone sparkle to the claw clips to match the sets, and like everybody was talking about it, like it was a huge hit, right? And so people thought, okay, not only do I need the claw clips, I also need the matching set to match. So I feel like it could definitely, you know, benefit both brands if you come together. So that's definitely something that I'm really hoping to get to in the next year.
I like
I
that.
like that too.
Yeah.
And I liked how you kind of break it down into like just baby steps.
Yeah.
You have your next, you know what you
Yeah.
want to do next, and you're just working towards that. And then as that is obviously formulating, you're kind of planning the next thing, you know?
Yeah, I definitely have goals that may not be able to be achieved in the next year, but I don't really try to let it overwhelm me, because that sounds like 5 years, like that sounds so far away. Like that's scary to me, right? Because I feel like this last year has gone by so fast and so much has changed that I can't look that far yet. I feel like, I
That's
just
fair.
can't.
That's fair. A lot will happen in 5
Yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah. Like I just want to be lasting off in 5 years. That's the general goal.
I love it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. We're wrapping up here about an hour mark, so that was awesome. I feel like
Yeah.
I got a lot of inspo from you here as
Good,
well.
me too. Just
Um,
coming here gave me inspo, so thank you
I'm
so
glad.
much.
We'll definitely keep this going.
Yes.
You're part of the network now.
Thank you. No, thank
I
you.
love everything about Aloura Lounge.
Aw.
Like you're killing it.
Thank you so much. No, thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, guys, that's it. We're closing off the pod here. Anything else that you want to add in before we...
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you guys want to, or I guess you can plug yourself here.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check out Aloura Lounge, we're at Aloura Lounge on Instagram, at Aloura Lounge on TikTok, or you can find us at www.alouralounge.com.
We'll put the details in the caption as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much
Thank
for joining us,
you.
Julia.
Thank you.
And we'll
Peace.
see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
No mercy for you, no worries for you. That Game of Thrones, go Cersei on you. I flipped the script, I roll the dice. Don't fall asleep, cause I'm working nights. Hey, you tryna shut me